Welcome back to Hilaal Live. Now, you're wondering how quick did our team go ahead and do the set? Just speaks about the efficiency of us here at Hilaal TV. And it's also a bit of history on the show because for the first time, I actually have a guest physically. And joining me now, I'd like to welcome Bilal Kathrada. He is the founder of IT Varsity, and we're going to be talking a whole range of things from AI to the workshop that you will be hosting this weekend, and of course, just how from an education perspective, you know, we can use the digital age. Bilal, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah so much for joining us.
Wa alaikum salam, and it's a pleasure to be here, and I'm honored to be your physical guest for a change.
Yeah, no, definitely. The pleasure is all mine. We're really, really happy to see you. Yeah, Bilal, let's first talk about you know, education from a digital perspective. I know we've got 12 minutes. I want to try and slot everything in. How important is it now? Because we, of course, entering the fourth industrial revolution. So how do we now maximize doing education through, of course, a smartphone or anything else where it's just instant, just like that?
Yeah. So let's put it like this, right? I often say to people in my talks that do you realize you have the biggest library ever known to mankind in your pocket? Yes. Pull out your cell phone and you can download and read any book you want or do any course on any topic you want and basically travel the whole world just from that cell phone. So I think if we are not using that immense capability of digital, especially mobile, to educate ourselves and our children, then something is very wrong with our system. That's one. The second thing is with technologies like ChatGPT. You know, in the old days where children had to really work hard to produce one assignment, now all they do is half an hour before the class, they get ChatGPT to write it, copy, paste, and submit it, which tells you that our education system is kind of outdated now, and we need a new mode of education that really appeals to today's audience and is relevant for today's times, and tech provides that.
Yeah, no, definitely. But there's also the downside of tech. And I want to spend a bit of time on that, artificial intelligence. Let's talk about the upside and the downside of artificial intelligence, because, I mean, you know, being in the media, you're seeing a lot of doom and gloom with regards to that. But how do we utilize it to the advantage of us as human beings, but also making sure that it doesn't come back to haunt us?
Yeah, so this is a very big topic, right? But in a nutshell, what every one of us needs to do, and this is my appeal to everyone, man, woman, child, old, young, whoever, first and foremost, embrace technology, right? And know for a fact that you've been using AI for longer than you even know, because when you unlock your phone with your thumb, that's AI. Yes. When you do Face ID, that's AI. You do a Google search, that's AI. So we have been using it, continue using it, but also look at how in your space, like for example, I'm a software engineer, I run an institute, you're a media person, we need to look at do our own research as to how AI is going to impact our own spaces and educate yourself to keep yourself relevant going forward. Because, you know, I heard a very interesting saying the other day where the person said that AI is not going to replace people's jobs, but people who know AI are going to replace people who don't know AI. So I think the main advice I'll give to anybody, educate yourself and make yourself future ready.
Yeah, and within obviously some of the classes or the workshops that you're going to give, how important is it that you educate people? Okay, we've got technology, it is here, but we can use that technology to our advantage, and most importantly, embracing it and understanding it.
Right. So it depends on the domain, right? It depends what you want out of it. Now, for example, the workshop we're having this Saturday, it's about how to start and run a business with nothing more than your mobile phone. And there we bring in digital marketing, we bring in aspects of AI, and it's pitched on a very low level for anybody, no matter who you are. You could be a school student, you could be a housewife, you could be a business person. You don't need to be tech savvy, but the idea is to show people how they can use nothing more than the cell phone and the skills we already have, right? You and I, we know how to use WhatsApp, we know how to use basic Instagram and TikTok. With just those skills, you can start and run a very successful business. So I think it always comes down to that. People overestimate the skill level they need to accomplish certain things with technology. Whereas in most cases, you don't need to be like an app developer or anything. With basic skills, you can do a lot.
Let's talk about the workshop that's going to be happening this weekend, Bilal. How important is it that people who really want to take using technology to a very competitive level attend this conference and understand the importance of technology and just its effects within us as a community and as a nation?
Yeah. So the genesis of the idea came through my TikToks and my other social media presence. You know, I'm quite active on TikTok. And lots of people, when I give business advice, they ask me things like, where do I start? How do I come up with ideas? What are viable business models for digital entrepreneurship? And so instead of giving individual, I beg your pardon, instead of giving individual answers, I decided why not bring everybody together in the form of a very detailed, very descriptive hand-holding workshop. Well, a series of workshops. This is the first of many, inshallah. So bring them together and explain start to end. Because my way of doing things, I don't like getting information in fragments. I like it all in one. So that's what we're gonna do, and it's happening this Saturday. So it's basically how can you use your cell phone, and we give 6 very viable business models with case studies and everything. And we make it such that anybody can get started with their own business and make money using nothing more than your cell phone.
Bilal, I want to ask, are we moving away from the age where if you want to have a business plan or you want to pitch something to an investor or anyone who can assist you in the business, that the days of writing it on a paper have long gone, and anything now is just through digitally, and you can do it right there and then? We're talking about ChatGPT. Listen, if you want to formulate a business plan, ChatGPT can help you. Are we at that time now where forget about the pen and the paper, it's now the thumb and of course what's on your screen?
100%. So that's a good question, because there's actually 2 aspects to that. One is that, yes, you have to use digital for all of that. Maybe your initial ideation, sitting in a restaurant, scribbling on a napkin, you know, that's the legend of so many businesses. But at some stage, it needs to go digital, because if people see that you are sending them a handwritten business plan, it's immediately a put-off for investors, because it tells them immediately this guy is not even tech savvy. So yes, it is digital, and you're right. ChatGPT, there's a whole lot of other technologies that can actually help you to draw up your business plan. So that's one. The second thing is, and it just popped in my head as you were asking me the question. Today, it's so easy to start a business even without a business plan, because you need nothing. You don't need capital. You need nothing more than your cell phone, and you can start up and formulate your business plan as your business is growing. So that's a more iterative, more sort of lean way of getting your business started. Get your basic business out there and start improving it as you go.
One final question, Bilal. America, the USA, has Silicon Valley with so many tech companies. How close is South Africa to having its very own Silicon Valley, where we have all these tech startups and they bloom into corporate tech companies? How close are we? Are we getting there? Are we still behind? What needs to happen from a government to go ahead and assist so many bright minds who have ideas for startup techs?
So, good question. South Africa and Africa will probably likely never have a Silicon Valley. What we're going to see instead is, instead of everything being concentrated in one area, we're going to see clusters across the continent where people are starting up businesses. So you're going to get like Cape Town, and you're going to get Durban, and then you're going to get Nairobi, and then you get Accra. And it's going to be beautiful, because there's going to be these multiple centers, and they're all going to be working together, and there's going to be lots of collaboration. And just to give you a sense also, let's not only think of the cities, because I envision in the future that townships are going to become tech hubs. And you're going to get people, young South Africans, young Africans that are working in the townships with digital skills, master digital skills, and doing work for companies all over the world, and bringing the revenue into South Africa and into Africa rather than the revenue going out. So that's going to be very exciting.
Bilal, just before we close, anyone wants to attend the workshops, how do they contact you? Where do they go to try and be part of this?
Yeah, sure. So they can go to the IT Varsity website, itvarsity.org, and right there at the top you'll see a banner.
Yes.
Click on the banner and it'll give you all the information, and it'll give you a form to fill in. Fill the form, hit submit, you're in.
Bilal, thank you so much,
It's a
Jazakallah,
pleasure.
for joining us here on Hilaal Life, and all the best going ahead with regards to your workshop and beyond.
Thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure. That's Bilal Kathrada, founder of IT Varsity. An interesting concept there to try and get all of us, not just the youth, but us also as, just above the youth as citizens of South Africa, to really enhance our minds in the tech world that we are living in and the digital world that we are a part of. After the break, I'll have your latest in news to stay tuned to Hilaal Live.